Lisa Carter walked through the metal halls of Nexus Prime with her head down. The massive space station was home to thousands of cadets from across the galaxy. Each species had their own area, but the training halls brought everyone together. Lisa did not like those times. The 19-year-old human carried a data pad in her hands. Her uniform was clean and proper, but it looked plain next to the fancy armor worn by alien cadets. Her rank patch said, Strategic Communications Liaison, in small letters. Most people did not even read it. "Look, it's the human paper pusher," said a voice behind her. Lisa did not need to turn around to know who it was. Vexthor was a Zephyrian cadet with blue skin and 4 arms. His people were known for being smart and thinking they were better than everyone else. "She probably gets scared when she sees real weapons," laughed another voice. That was Jacquemar, a Krillian warrior cadet. His species looked like giant lizards with thick scales and sharp teeth. They loved to fight and never backed down from anything. Lisa kept walking. She had heard these jokes many times before. Her friend Jake Morrison caught up with her near the training room door. Jake was tall with brown hair and kind eyes. He was a tactical operations cadet, which sounded much more important than Lisa's job. "Don't listen to them," Jake said quietly. "Your work is important too." Lisa smiled at him but did not say anything. Jake was trying to be nice, but even he did not really understand what she did. Most days, Lisa was not sure she understood it either. The training room was huge with high ceilings and bright lights. Commander Helen Brooks stood at the front. She was a tough human woman with gray hair and a serious face. She had been in the military for 30 years and did not smile much. "Today we will run Exercise Delta 7, Commander Brooks announced. "This is a joint operation simulation. Each team will have different roles." The alien cadets straightened up. They loved combat exercises. Lisa just listened and took notes on her data pad. "Vexthor, you will command the Strategic Planning Unit. Jacquemar, you will lead the assault team. The other Zephyrians and Krillians will support combat operations." Lisa waited to hear her assignment. She already knew what it would be. "Carter, you will handle communications coordination. Make sure all teams can talk to each other during the exercise." Several alien cadets laughed. Vexthor shook his head like he felt sorry for humans. "Of course the human gets the easy job," he said loud enough for everyone to hear. "Probably the only thing they can do without messing up." Jacquemar nodded. Humans are weak. They hide behind computers and radios instead of fighting like real warriors. Lisa's face got red, but she did not argue. Jake stepped forward, but Lisa put her hand on his arm to stop him. "It's fine," she whispered. "Let's just do the exercise." The simulation began 20 minutes later. Lisa sat at a communication station with screens and buttons all around her. Her job was to make sure the different teams could talk to each other and share information. At first, everything went well. Vexthor's planning team made a good strategy. Jacquemar's assault team was ready to attack. The other teams knew their jobs. Lisa kept all the communication channels open and clear, but then things started to go wrong. The alien cadets were so sure they were better than humans that they stopped listening to each other. Vexthor changed the plan without telling anyone. Jacquemar attacked too early because he got excited. The support teams got confused and did not know what to do. Lisa tried to help. She sent messages to all the teams telling them about the changes. She suggested ways to fix the problems. But no one listened to the human communications officer. "Carter, just do your job and stay quiet," Vexthor said over the radio. "Let the real military leaders handle this." The exercise ended badly. The simulated enemy destroyed most of their forces. The mission failed completely. Commander Brooks looked angry as she turned off the simulation. "What went wrong?" she asked the room. Vexthor spoke first. "The human communication system was too slow. We could not get information fast enough." "That's not true," Jake said, getting angry. "Lisa did everything right. You guys just didn't listen to each other. Humans always make excuses, Jacquemart growled. They are not built for war. They should stick to safe jobs behind desks. Lisa stood up slowly. Everyone looked at her. She was quiet for a moment, then spoke in a calm voice. The communication system worked perfectly. I sent 47 messages during the exercise. 31 of them were ignored. 12 were answered too late to help. Only 4 were acted on immediately. She looked at her data pad and continued. The plan changed 6 times, but only the first change was shared with all teams. When Team 3 asked for backup, I passed the message to 4 different units. None of them responded. Commander Brooks nodded. Carter is correct. The communication logs show that information flow was excellent. The problem was leadership and teamwork. Vexthor's blue face got darker. Numbers on a screen don't win battles. Real warriors need instinct and courage, not human bureaucracy. Maybe if real warriors listened to their support staff, they would win more battles, Lisa said quietly. The room got very quiet. No one expected the human communications officer to talk back to the alien combat leaders. Jacquemart laughed, but it was not a friendly sound. The little human has spirit. Too bad spirit does not matter when the shooting starts. Commander Brooks ended the class early. As the cadets left, Lisa heard them talking about her. Some laughed. Others seemed annoyed that a human had criticized their performance. Jake walked with Lisa back to the human quarters. You were right in there, he said, but you made them angry. They were already angry, Lisa replied. They just don't like being told they made mistakes. Why do they give you such a hard time? I mean, your job is important. Someone has to handle communications. Lisa looked at her friend. Jake was nice, but he saw her the same way the aliens did. A support person. Someone who helped the real fighters, but never did any fighting herself. Communications is more important than people think, she said. Information wins wars, not just weapons. That night, Lisa sat alone in her small room. Her data pad showed files that most people never saw. Training manuals with security codes, protocol documents with restricted access, emergency procedures that only a few humans knew about. Lisa had been studying these files for 3 years. She knew every communication system on every human ship and station. She understood backup networks and emergency channels that most officers did not even know existed. But more than that, she knew codes, activation codes, authorization codes, launch codes. The aliens thought her title was just a fancy name for a radio operator. They had no idea what a strategic communications liaison really did. They did not understand that some communications were more important than battles. Lisa smiled as she closed the files. Let them think she was just a human paper pusher. Let them believe humans were weak and only good for support jobs. Someday they might learn the truth, but not today. She turned off the lights and went to sleep, dreaming of stars and ships and secrets that could change everything. 3 months passed quietly on Nexus Prime. Lisa continued her training while the alien cadets kept making jokes about her job. She did not mind as much anymore. Her secret studies were going well, and she was learning things that made her feel more confident. Jake noticed the change in his friend. You seem different lately, he said one morning as they ate breakfast in the cafeteria. More sure of yourself. Lisa smiled and ate her eggs. I'm just getting better at my job. Communications? Jake asked. How hard can it be to answer radio calls? Lisa almost laughed. If only he knew what she really did during those long nights with her datapad. But she could not tell him. The rules were very clear about that. Suddenly, alarms started ringing. Throughout the station. Red lights flashed on the walls. Everyone in the cafeteria stopped eating and looked around with worried faces. All senior staff report to command center immediately, announced a voice over the speakers. This is not a drill. Repeat, this is not a drill. Commander Brooks ran past their table without stopping. Other instructors followed her, all looking serious and scared. Lisa had never seen the adults act this way before. Within an hour, every person on the station was called to the main assembly hall. Lisa sat with the other human cadets while thousands of aliens filled the huge room. Everyone was talking quietly and wondering what was happening. Admiral Frank Martinez walked onto the stage. He was the commander of Nexus Prime and one of the most important humans in the galaxy. Lisa had only seen him a few times before. He was a big man with white hair and a deep voice that carried across the room without a microphone. 3 hours. Ago. Our long-range sensors detected something that we hoped we would never see again. Admiral Martinez began. A massive fleet is approaching from beyond the galactic rim. Our analysis confirms that these ships belong to the Devourers. The room exploded with noise. Aliens shouted in their own languages. Some cadets jumped up from their seats. Lisa felt cold fear run through her body. Everyone knew about the Devourers, even if they had never seen one. They were ancient machines that had tried to destroy all life in the galaxy 1,000 years ago. The combined forces of every species had barely stopped them. Most people thought they were gone forever. "How many ships?" asked a Zephyrian instructor. Admiral Martinez looked grim. "Current count is over 50,000 vessels. The fleet is larger than anything in our historical records." Lisa did quick math in her head. The entire Galactic Defense Corps had maybe 5,000 ships total. They were outnumbered 10 to 1. The Devourer fleet will reach our outer colonies in 6 days, the Admiral continued. They will arrive at Earth in 12 days. All military forces are being mobilized for defense. A Krillian general stood up. "We should attack them now before they get closer. Strike hard and fast." "With what?" asked a human captain. "They have 10 times more ships than we do." "Numbers are not everything," growled the Krillian. "Courage and honor can overcome any odds." Lisa wanted to roll her eyes. The aliens always thought fighting harder was the answer to every problem. They never considered that maybe there were smarter ways to win. Over the next few days, military leaders from every species came to Nexus Prime. They held meeting after meeting trying to figure out how to stop the Devourers. Lisa watched them argue and make plans that did not make sense. The alien leaders wanted to meet the Devourer fleet in open space with everything they had. They talked about glorious battles and heroic sacrifices. They seemed more worried about looking brave than actually winning. The human officers tried to suggest different ideas. What if they used Earth's defense systems? What if they tried to divide the enemy fleet? What if they attacked the command ships first? But the aliens did not listen. General Korthak of the Hegemony Council was especially dismissive of human ideas. "Earth's defense grid is impressive, but it cannot stop 50,000 ships," he said during one meeting that Lisa was allowed to attend. "We need warrior spirit, not human technology." "The defense grid is more powerful than you think," said Admiral Martinez carefully. "Powerful enough to matter in a real battle?" asked Vex Thor's father, who was now a senior Zephyrian commander. Admiral Martinez paused before answering. "It would certainly help." Lisa noticed that the Admiral did not really answer the question. She also noticed that he kept looking at her during these meetings. It made her feel strange, like he was thinking about something important. The meetings went on for days. Plans were made and thrown away. Arguments got louder. Everyone was scared, but no one wanted to admit it. Lisa tried to speak up a few times. She had ideas about communication networks and coordination systems that might help. But every time she raised her hand, the alien leaders ignored her or told her to let the real officers talk. "The human cadet can file our reports," said General Korthak with a laugh. "Leave the war planning to those who understand combat." Jake got angry at this treatment of his friend. "Lisa knows more about military systems than half the people." "In this room," he said loudly. "Systems, yes," replied Jacquemar's uncle, a high-ranking Krillian warrior. But war is not about systems. It is about strength and will and the courage to die for victory. Lisa stayed quiet, but inside she was thinking hard. The aliens were making the same mistakes they always made. They thought louder and stronger, always won. They did not understand that sometimes the quietest person in the room knew the most important secrets. That night, Admiral Martinez asked Lisa to come to his private office. She had never been there before. It was a small room with a big desk and walls covered with pictures of human ships and space stations. "Sit down, Lisa," he said gently. "We need to talk." Lisa sat in a chair across from his desk. The Admiral looked tired and worried. "What do you think about our situation?" he asked. "Honestly, sir?" "Honestly." Lisa took a deep breath. "I think we're going to lose if we fight the way the alien leaders want to fight. 50,000 ships is too many for a direct battle. We need to be smarter." Admiral Martinez nodded. "I agree. What would you do differently?" "Use Earth's real defenses, not just the public ones that everyone knows about. The hidden systems that most people have never heard of." The Admiral's eyes got wider. "What do you know about hidden systems?" Lisa hesitated. This was the moment when everything would change. She could keep pretending to be just a communications officer, or she could tell the truth. "I know about the backup networks," she said quietly. "The emergency protocols. The systems that activate when normal command structures fail." Admiral Martinez leaned back in his chair. "What else do you know?" "I know about the launch codes." The room got very quiet. Admiral Martinez stared at Lisa for a long time without saying anything. Finally, he smiled, but it was a sad smile. "How long have you known?" he asked. 3 years, sir, since I started the advanced training program." "And you never told anyone? Not even Jake?" "No, sir. The protocols are very clear about secrecy." Admiral Martinez stood up and walked to the window. Outside, space was black and full of stars. Somewhere, out there, 50,000 enemy ships were getting closer every hour. "Lisa," he said without turning around, "I think it's time to tell you the truth about your real job." Admiral Martinez turned back to face Lisa. His expression was serious but also relieved, like he had been carrying a heavy secret for too long. "Strategic Communications Liaison is not your real title," he said. "That was just a cover story to keep you safe and hidden." Lisa felt her heart beating faster. She had suspected this for months, but hearing it confirmed was still shocking. "Your real designation is Emergency Protocol Commander," the Admiral continued. "You are the youngest person in human history to hold that rank. You have been training for this job since you were 16 years old." "Protocol Commander for what?" Lisa asked, though she was starting to understand. "For the day when normal military command breaks down, when our allies cannot or will not help us, when humanity faces a threat so big that we have to use every weapon we have." Admiral Martinez sat back down at his desk. "Lisa, what I am about to tell you is classified at the highest level. Only 12 people in the entire galaxy know the full truth." Lisa nodded. Her mouth felt dry. "Earth is not just another member of the Galactic Defense Corps. We are the secret backbone of the entire defense network. While other species build big fleets and show off their weapons, we have been quietly building something much more powerful." The Admiral touched his computer screen and brought up a star map. It showed the galaxy with thousands of small dots marked in different colors. Every blue dot is a human colony or research station that the galactic community knows about. Every red dot is a human installation that they do not know about. Lisa looked at the map and gasped. There were 3 times as many red dots as blue ones. Hidden human bases were everywhere. For 200 years, we have been preparing for exactly this situation. We learned early that other species see us as weak junior partners. That was fine with us. It made them underestimate what we were really doing. The Admiral zoomed in on different parts of the map. "This asteroid mining facility has enough weapons to destroy a fleet. This research station can manufacture 10,000 missiles per day. This trading post has shield generators more powerful than anything the aliens have ever seen. Lisa stared at the screen. All of these are secret? All of them. And you, Lisa Carter, are one of only 3 people who can activate all of these systems at once. 3 people? The President of Earth, the Supreme Military Commander, and the Emergency Protocol Commander. That's you. Lisa felt dizzy. This was so much bigger than she had imagined. Why me? I'm just 19 years old. Admiral Martinez smiled. Age does not matter for this job. What matters is knowledge, training, and the ability to make hard decisions under pressure. You have been tested and evaluated more than you know. Tested? How? Every exercise you did badly in, every time the alien cadets mocked you, every moment when you stayed calm instead of getting angry, we were watching. We needed to know that you could handle pressure and keep secrets even when people treated you badly. Lisa thought back to all those months of jokes and insults. That was all on purpose? Not the insults themselves. The alien cadets really do think humans are weak. But we needed someone who could work in that environment without breaking or giving away important information. The Admiral brought up another screen showing text in small letters. These are your real orders, Lisa. Memorize them. Lisa read the screen carefully. The orders were simple but terrifying. If normal military command failed, or if Earth was directly threatened, she had the authority to activate every secret human weapon in the galaxy. She could override any other commander, even alien allies. She could make war and peace decisions for the entire human species. The launch codes you have been memorizing are not just for communications, Admiral Martinez explained. They control everything. Weapons, shields, ships, bases, and systems that the rest of the galaxy does not know exist. Lisa looked up from the screen. The Devourers are coming. Is this that threat? Yes. This is exactly what we prepared for. Over the next day, Admiral Martinez showed Lisa the true scope of human preparations. Every human ship had hidden weapons and armor. Every human officer above a certain rank knew at least part of the secret. Even civilian transport vessels could be converted to warships in hours. But more importantly, humans had been studying every alien species for decades. They knew the strengths and weaknesses of Zephyrian technology. They understood Krillian battle tactics. They had detailed information about every allied ship and weapon system. We are not just preparing to fight the Devourers, the Admiral explained. We are preparing to fight anyone who might threaten humanity in the future. Even our allies, especially our allies. Lisa, the other species in this galaxy are not evil, but they are not truly our friends either. They cooperate with us because it benefits them. If that ever changes, we need to be ready. Lisa spent the day learning about systems she never knew existed. Emergency communication networks that could not be jammed, weapon platforms hidden in seemingly empty space, manufacturing facilities that could build fleets faster than anyone thought possible. Meanwhile, the Devourer fleet kept getting closer. The alien military leaders kept arguing about tactics and strategies that would not work. They were so busy fighting each other that they were not preparing for the real enemy. On the second day, bad news arrived from the outer colonies. The first Devourer ships had reached the edge of human space. 3 colonies were already under attack. The alien fleets rushed out to fight them and were destroyed almost immediately. The Devourers had new weapons and tactics that no one had seen before. Traditional military strategies were useless against them. General Korthak came back from the first battle with half his ships gone and his pride badly wounded. They fight like nothing we have ever faced, he reported. Our weapons barely scratch their hulls. Then we need better weapons, said Jacquemar's uncle. We fight harder. Fighting harder won't work, said Admiral Martinez quietly. We need to fight smarter. What do you suggest? Asked General Korthak with annoyance. More human technology that does not work in real battles? Admiral Martinez looked at Lisa. She understood what he was asking without words. Lisa stood up, slowly. Everyone in the room looked at her with surprise. The young human cadet rarely spoke in these important meetings. "I suggest we stop pretending," she said in a clear, calm voice. "Pretending what?" asked the Zephyrian commander. "Pretending that humans are weak. Pretending that we are just support troops. Pretending that our job is to follow orders from species who keep losing battles." The room got very quiet. Several alien officers looked angry at her bold words. "The human child has lost her mind," muttered General Korthak. "No," said Admiral Martinez, standing up beside Lisa. "She has found it." He looked around the room at all the alien faces. "Gentlemen, I would like you to meet Emergency Protocol Commander Lisa Carter. As of this moment, she has operational authority over all human military assets in this galaxy." The aliens stared in confusion. Emergency Protocol Commander was not a rank they had ever heard of. "She is 19 years old," said Vexthor's father with a laugh. "What authority could a child possibly have?" Lisa walked to the main display screen and entered a long series of codes from memory. The screen came alive with information that made everyone in the room gasp. Ships appeared on the star map. Thousands of ships in positions that no one knew about. Weapon platforms came online in empty space. Hidden bases revealed themselves across dozens of star systems. "This authority," Lisa said simply. General Korthak stared at the screen with his mouth open. "This is impossible. Where did all these ships come from?" "They were always there," Lisa replied. "You just were not looking in the right places." She entered another code and more information appeared. Detailed technical specifications for weapons that were far more advanced than anything the aliens had seen. Manufacturing capabilities that could build fleets in days instead of months. For 200 years, humanity has been preparing for this day, Lisa continued. While you were building obvious fleets and fighting honorable battles, we were building a secret network of defenses that could protect this entire galaxy. She looked directly at General Korthak. "The question now is whether you want our help or if you prefer to keep losing battles the traditional way." The meeting room stayed silent for long minutes. The alien commanders stared at the display screen showing thousands of hidden human ships and weapons. Their faces showed confusion, anger, and something that might have been fear. General Korthak was the first to speak. "This changes nothing. Numbers alone do not win wars. The Devourers destroyed our best fleets easily." "Your fleets used predictable tactics," Lisa replied calmly. "The Devourers adapted to your fighting style because they have seen it before. They fought our ancestors using the same methods." "And you think human tactics will work better?" asked the Zephyrian commander. "I think human tactics will be completely different from anything the Devourers expect." Lisa walked to another control panel and entered more codes. The star map changed to show the current positions of all military forces. The Devourer fleet was a massive red blob moving steadily toward Earth. Allied forces were scattered and retreating. "Traditional military thinking says we should gather all our ships and meet them in one big battle," Lisa explained. "The Devourers are expecting exactly that. They want us to come at them with everything we have so they can destroy us all at once." She touched the screen and highlighted several human colonies near the edge of the red blob. "Instead, we are going to give them what looks like easy targets." Admiral Martinez stepped forward. "Lisa is implementing Protocol 7. This is a strategy that humanity has been planning for centuries." "What is Protocol 7? asked Jake. Lisa's friend had been quiet during the meeting, trying to understand how the girl he knew as a communications officer had suddenly become a military commander. Lisa looked at her old friend with sad eyes. "Protocol 7 is what we do when the survival of humanity is at stake. It means we use every weapon, every advantage, and every secret we have been keeping." She turned back to the display. "The first part is sacrifice. We evacuate 2 outer colonies, but leave behind decoy installations that look like important military targets. The Devourers will attack them first." "You want to sacrifice human colonies?" General Korthak asked with surprise. "Empty colonies. With fake targets," Admiral Martinez clarified. "The civilians are already being evacuated. What the Devourers will find are automated defense systems designed to look weak but gather intelligence," Lisa continued explaining. "While the Devourers are busy destroying fake targets, our hidden installations will move into attack positions. They will target the Devourer command ships with weapons specifically designed to disrupt mechanical systems." She entered another code, and the screen showed technical details of human weapons. The aliens leaned forward to read the specifications. Electromagnetic. Pulse cannons that can shut down entire fleets. Quantum disruptors that break apart mechanical bonds. Nanovirus missiles that turn enemy systems against themselves. Jacquemar's uncle studied the weapons data. "These are not traditional weapons. They are designed specifically to fight machines." "Yes," Lisa said. "We studied the historical records of the last Devourer War. We know exactly what kind of enemies we are facing. Every human weapon built in the last 50 years was designed with the Devourers in mind." The alien commanders looked at each other with growing understanding. The humans had not just been preparing for any war. They had been preparing for this specific war. Over the next few hours, Lisa outlined the complete battle plan. It was complex and dangerous, requiring precise timing and coordination between thousands of ships and installations. The plan had 3 main phases. First, the sacrifice of the outer colonies would draw the main Devourer fleet into a carefully prepared trap zone. Second, coordinated strikes from hidden human installations would target the Devourer command structure. Third, Earth's ultimate defense weapon would eliminate the core of the enemy fleet. "What is Earth's ultimate weapon?" asked Vexthor's father. Lisa looked at Admiral Martinez, who nodded. "A gravity well generator," Lisa said quietly. "It can create artificial black holes." The room went completely silent. Several alien officers sat down heavily in their chairs. "You can create black holes?" whispered General Korthak. "Small ones. Controlled ones. But yes, that is impossible. The technology does not exist." Admiral Martinez smiled grimly. "The technology exists. It has existed for 30 years. We just never told anyone about it." Lisa continued with the technical explanation. "The gravity well generator requires enormous amounts of power and very precise calculations. It can only be used once, and only when the target is in exactly the right position. This is why we need the sacrifice colonies," Admiral Martinez added. "We have to get the Devourer mothership to exactly the right location." The alien commanders spent the rest of the day studying the human battle plan. It was unlike anything they had ever seen. Instead of head-on attacks and heroic charges, it relied on deception, precise strikes, and weapons that the enemy would not expect. Some of the aliens were impressed, others were disturbed by the complexity and ruthlessness of the plan. "This is not how honorable warriors fight," said Jacquemar's uncle. "Honor does not matter if everyone dies," Lisa replied. "The Devourers do not care about honor. They only care about destroying all organic life. But your plan requires us to lie and deceive. It requires sacrificing colonies and using weapons of mass destruction." Lisa looked at the Krillian warrior with steady eyes. "Yes, it does. The question is whether you would rather fight honorably and lose everything, or fight smart and save the galaxy." That night, Lisa worked alone in the command center while the alien leaders debated her plan. She was in constant communication with hidden human installations across the galaxy. Weapons systems came online. Ships moved into position. Manufacturing centers began producing specialized ammunition. Jake found her there at midnight. "I can't believe this is really you," he said quietly. Lisa looked up from her screens. "It's still me. I just had to keep some things secret. How long have you known about all of this? Parts of it for 3 years. The full picture only since yesterday. Jake sat down in a chair next to her. I feel like I never really knew you at all. You knew the real me. The girl who ate breakfast with you and studied late at night and got tired of alien cadets making jokes. That was all real. But you were also training to be some kind of super soldier? Lisa laughed, and for a moment she sounded like the old Lisa that Jake remembered. Not a super soldier, more like a super coordinator. My job is to make sure all the pieces work together when everything goes wrong. And now everything is going wrong. Yes, but we are ready for it. Jake looked at the screens full of military data and secret codes. Are you scared? Lisa was quiet for a moment. Terrified, but also relieved. I have been preparing for this. My whole life. Finally, I get to find out if all that training was worth it. The next morning brought news that the Devourer fleet was accelerating. They would reach the sacrifice colonies in 18 hours instead of 2 days. They know something is wrong, Admiral Martinez said grimly. Our evacuation activities probably tipped them off. Lisa studied the updated enemy positions. It doesn't matter. We can adjust the timing. She sent new orders to the hidden human installations. The plan was flexible enough to handle changes in the enemy schedule. General Korthak approached her workstation. Commander Carter, the Hegemony Council, has decided to accept your battle plan. Lisa looked up at him. All of it? Including my operational authority? The alien general's face showed how hard this decision had been. All of it. The survival of the galaxy is more important than our pride. Lisa nodded. Thank you, General. I promise you that humanity will not forget this trust. See that you don't. And, Commander, try not to destroy the galaxy while you are saving it. Lisa smiled. I'll do my best. The battle began exactly as Lisa had planned. The Devourer fleet reached the first sacrifice colony and found what looked like a poorly defended human settlement. Their sensors detected weapons and shields that seemed powerful, but not impossible to overcome. Lisa watched from the command center as thousands of enemy ships surrounded the fake installation. The Devourers were acting exactly as human strategists had predicted they would. They wanted to crush human resistance quickly and move on to easier targets. Phase 1 is complete, reported Admiral Martinez. The Devourers are fully committed to attacking Colony 7. Good. Begin Phase 2. Across the galaxy, hidden human installations came alive. Ships that had been disguised as asteroids revealed their true nature. Mining stations dropped their fake equipment and showed massive weapon arrays. Research facilities opened launch bays filled with specialized missiles. The Devourers had never seen weapons like these before. Electromagnetic pulse cannons fired coordinated bursts that shut down entire sections of their fleet. Quantum disruptors broke apart the molecular bonds holding their ships together. Nanovirus missiles infected their computer systems and turned their own weapons against them. Direct hit on Devourer Command Group Alpha, called out a human technician. Their coordination network is failing. Command Group Beta is trying to retreat, reported another. Don't let them, Lisa ordered. Launch the containment field. More hidden human ships appeared around the Devourer fleet. They fired specialized weapons that created energy barriers in space. The barriers did not cause damage, but they prevented the mechanical ships from escaping or calling for help. Admiral Martinez watched the tactical display with amazement. In 30 minutes, we have done more damage to them than all the previous battles combined. The aliens were fighting the last war, Lisa explained. We prepared for this war. The second phase continued for 2 hours. Human weapons systematically dismantled the Devourer fleet piece by piece. The enemy ships tried to adapt, but every time they changed tactics, the humans were ready with new countermeasures. "They are learning too slowly," Lisa observed. "Their artificial intelligence is advanced, but it was designed to fight biological opponents who think in predictable patterns." "And humans don't think in predictable patterns?" asked Jake, who was now serving as Lisa's communication liaison. "Humans are the most unpredictable species in the galaxy. That's why the other races find us so frustrating to work with." The alien commanders watched the battle with growing respect and concern. The humans were not just winning, they were winning easily. Ships and weapons that had been hidden for decades were destroying an enemy that had seemed unstoppable. "How? Many more secrets do you have?" General Korthak asked quietly. "Enough," Lisa replied without taking her eyes off the tactical display. By the end of the second phase, the Devourer fleet had lost 60% of its ships. But more importantly, Lisa had achieved her real objective. The remaining enemy forces were being herded into exactly the position she needed for the final phase. "All Devourer ships are now within the target zone," reported Admiral Martinez. "The mothership is in optimal position." Lisa took a deep breath. This was the moment that would determine the fate of the galaxy. She entered a long series of codes into her command console. These were the most secret codes she knew, ones that only 3 people in the universe were authorized to use. "Gravity well generator is online," she announced. "Final phase begins now." On Earth, deep beneath the surface, a machine the size of a city began to power up. It had been built in secret over 20 years, using technology that combined human engineering with principles learned from studying black holes and neutron stars. The machine required more power than most planets used in a year. It drew energy from Earth's core, from fusion reactors, and from solar collectors throughout the system. As it charged up, lights dimmed on every human world. Generator at 50% power, called a technician on Earth. 70%. 90%. 100%. Ready to fire. Lisa looked around the command center. Every face was watching her. Alien and human, officer and cadet, everyone understood that this moment would change history. "Fire," she said simply. The gravity well generator released all its stored energy in a single focused burst. Space itself bent and twisted around the Devourer fleet. Matter compressed to impossible densities. A new black hole formed in the exact center of the enemy formation. The Devourer mothership, larger than most space stations, was pulled apart by gravitational forces beyond imagination. Smaller ships tried to escape, but found that space itself was flowing toward the artificial singularity like water down a drain. "The black hole is stable," reported Earth Control. "All enemy ships in the target zone are being destroyed." Lisa entered another code and the gravity well generator shut down. The artificial black hole collapsed safely, leaving only empty space where the enemy fleet had been. The command center was completely quiet. Everyone stared at the tactical display showing the results. In less than 4 hours, humanity had destroyed the largest enemy fleet in galactic history. "Is it over?" asked Vexthor's father in a whisper. "The main fleet is destroyed," Lisa confirmed. Scattered Devourer ships remain throughout the galaxy, but without their mothership and command structure, they are no longer a coordinated threat. General Korthak sat down heavily in his chair. "We underestimated you, all of us, for centuries." "Admiral," Martinez stepped forward. General, what you saw today represents only a fraction of human capabilities. We have been preparing for threats that most species cannot imagine. What other threats? Asked the Zephyrian commander. Lisa looked at the alien faces around her. They needed to understand the full truth now. Threats from outside the galaxy. Threats from other dimensions. Threats from artificial intelligences that might become hostile. Threats from any species that might decide humanity should not exist. She paused and looked directly at General Korathak. Threats from our current allies, if they ever decide we are too dangerous to live. The alien commanders shifted uncomfortably. They were beginning to understand that humanity had been preparing for war against everyone, including them. This is why we kept our capabilities secret, Admiral Martinez explained. Not because we wanted to deceive you, but because we needed you to make your own choices about cooperation without fear influencing your decisions. Over the following days, representatives from every major species came to Nexus Prime. They wanted to understand what humanity had really been doing for the past 2 centuries. Lisa found herself explaining human strategy to beings who had thought they understood their junior partners. She showed them the scope of the hidden defense network. She explained the philosophy behind human preparations. We learned early that the universe is dangerous, she told a gathering of galactic leaders. We also learned that other species would not always be willing or able to help us when that danger became real. So you prepared to fight alone, said a Hegemony Council member. We prepared to fight anyone, alone or with allies, against external threats or internal ones. The alien leaders were disturbed by this revelation, but they could not argue with the results. Humanity had just saved the galaxy using methods and weapons that no one else possessed. What happens now? Asked General Korathak. Do you intend to dominate us with your superior technology? Lisa smiled. General, if we wanted to dominate you, we would have done it decades ago. We want the same thing we have always wanted, cooperation and peaceful coexistence. But now the cooperation is between equals, added Admiral Martinez. No more treating humans as junior partners. No more dismissing our ideas because we seem weak. And no more secrets? Asked the Zephyrian commander. Lisa exchanged glances with Admiral Martinez. Some secrets. Every species needs to keep some capabilities in reserve. But we will share enough technology to ensure that the galaxy can defend itself against future threats. Months later, Lisa stood on the observation deck of Nexus Prime looking out at the stars. The station was busier than ever as human technology was integrated with alien systems. The balance of power in the galaxy had shifted permanently. Jake joined her at the viewing window. Do you miss it? He asked. Miss what? Being underestimated, having people think you were just a communications officer. Lisa considered the question. Sometimes. It was simpler when people expected nothing from me. And now? Now they expect everything. Every species wants human weapons and human strategies. Everyone wants to know what other secrets we are keeping. Are we keeping other secrets? Lisa smiled, but did not answer directly. Jake, the universe is much bigger and more dangerous than most people realize. Humanity learned that lesson early. We will always be preparing for the next threat, whatever it might be. She looked back at the stars. Somewhere out there, the scattered remains of the Devourer fleet were still being hunted down by human ships. Other threats were probably forming. In distant galaxies, new challenges would emerge that no one could predict, but humanity was ready. They had been ready for centuries, and now the rest of the galaxy knew it. Come on, Lisa said to her friend. We have work to do. The galaxy isn't going to defend itself.